What were the training sessions like with Kenny then? I mean, were they intense? Were they hard? I mean, how did you find the training session? I mean, the reason I asked you is obviously there's a bit in a bit where where Michael talks about the training coming up, and it's just really, I thought, a good point to move forward and see obviously what the training regimes are. Because we just watch you on a Saturday. We've got no idea if you train, 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day or what it is. So just trying to get a bit of an insight.
You could pretty much read Kenny's week. He was very structured, very organised. That's another thing I found quite good. You knew where you were at, really. You knew what to kind of expect on any given day. Normally a Monday, if you played, it'd be a recovery day. Those lads that hadn't played would do a more intense session. Tuesday would be your real working day. And quite often, Kenny wouldn't be there on a Monday. He'd probably watch training from afar, just to take in the lads' approach, the lads' attitude for those that weren't playing necessarily. And then on a Tuesday, it'd be a more intense day. Joe would normally take that, and Kenny quite often wouldn't be in on a Tuesday. He'd either be watching a game or he'd have other things to do. And I think that was definitely, a decision he made consciously. I think he knew he didn't want the lads to hear his voice all the time. We'd be off on a Wednesday to recover from the more physical session on a Tuesday, and then by a Thursday, it'd be a shape session where we'd work at our team for the weekend, our attacking play, our defensive play, how he wanted us to go about it. And then we'd normally finish that with like a crossing and finishing thing where he wanted more goals from the defenders, more goals from the centre forwards in terms of scoring from crosses and corners. And we'd spend about 15 minutes doing that after every Thursday session. Friday was a small-sided game ahead of, or an 8v8 ahead of the weekend. And like I say, where you hadn't heard his voice up until the Thursday, when you heard his voice taking that shape session on a Thursday, I think the lads would really be on it and really be at the session. I think Dunne injured a few 18-year-olds' careers like every Thursday. He'd show him what his studs look like every Thursday.
Oh, I hated it. He'd get a night like a 16-year-old, like quick, strong, and he just feeding balls to get at me. And I was thinking after a couple, I'm going to have to just leave one on here. It was tough, but he'd get the best out of you. And like he said, his weeks were structured, and if he was depending on what mood he was in, would be the week. Some weeks he'd throw something in, like a pyramid run, like a really tough run we'd have to do out of nothing. You weren't expecting it. He liked the body facts, he liked fitness, and if he ever thought that was playing a part in your performance, then he would look to correct that very quickly. Kenny was like that. He was the ultimate professional. He wanted everyone to be at their best day in, day out. And he knew if you weren't, and he had a clever way of showing that at times.
How was Kenny as a whole? Because there's a lot of rumours about and whatnot that Kenny is a very fiery personality kind of person. I mean, was he mild mannered, or if you fucked up, he'd fucking destroy you?
Oh, you know about it.
Yeah, I think he's clever, Kenny. I think he knew when to do it. He knew when not to do it. He knew when to say. He knew, as I said before, he knew things that we got up to as a squad and things like that. But he never used it unless he had to, and very rarely did he have to use it. He had a way about him of us showing him respect, him showing us respect, and we got on fine like that. And as I said, he turned the team around what was battling relegation, added a few faces and turned it into a promotion side, just from being pretty clever in how he worked.
I mean, how you come from